Okay, hey again, everybody. Welcome into another episode of the Regular Guys NBA DFS show. I am David. We are back in the dungeon, thankfully, and I appreciate you guys joining me on this Thursday for this two-game NBA slate. I haven't been able to put out videos the last couple days, guys. I truly apologize. This summer seems to have been already just one thing after another. We had to leave town. A little bit of an emergency came up. I wasn't able to be in my studio to make videos. I was still able to get some lineups in on my phone on the road, but man, that is a pain, by the way. Anyway, but happy to be back and happy to be able to put out another video here. We're going to try and keep them consistent, guys. It's just like I said, it seems like things just keep coming up. I'm aggravated about that. I'm aggravated about the last time Brooklyn and Milwaukee played because or the Clippers and Utah in that game in that slate because man, if I would have stayed with my gut, I'd be on here talking to you guys about a couple of full takedowns in a couple of tournaments. But anyway, before we get started with today's video, if you guys wouldn't mind, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit that like button down there below. Also, hit the subscribe button and then hit the little notification bell. That way, you get notified every time that I put out some new videos. And again, we're going to try and keep these consistent. I know I've had some days, I had some health issues, then we had to go out of town, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, hopefully we're back on track here and we can keep making some videos here consistently. So, yeah, let's get into today's two-game slate, and I'll give you some of my thoughts on some of the guys I'm thinking about throwing in my main lineup here today. We'll get to a guy. Again, I'm just a little bit, I'm still bothered. I'll get to a guy. You guys, if you've been watching these videos at all, you know that I will take some chances now and then. And sometimes they pay off and sometimes they don't. But I really wanted to take a chance on a guy the last slate that the Clippers played in. Talked myself out of it, and we're going to get to him because we're going to try him again here today. But if I get to him instead of a different guy that they both fit in the lineup, I had a gut feeling after Game 7 against the Mavericks. I had a gut feeling, um, and I didn't go to it, and we literally were about his points away from a couple of full takedowns and just a huge, finally big win here. I haven't had a huge win in the NBA. I'll just be honest with you for about oh man, it's been over a month now, and we were really close. I mean, we've been making enough money to keep it profitable, and doing pretty well. But that big $5,000 takedown was just, I mean, it was in the grass. But anyway, we'll get to that here in a second. But let's go ahead and get into the lineup for today. So we've got Brooklyn and Milwaukee, and we've got the Clippers and Utah. Obviously, you guys know this is pretty much do or die for the Milwaukee Bucks. If they don't get it done tonight, they're just not going to get it done. Nobody's ever came back from a 3-0 deficit to win a series, as far as I know. I don't think it's happened recently when I haven't been paying attention. But anyway, so that being said, as far as our pay-up options, our stud options, I'm going to try it one more time. I'm going to stick with him because I figure it's now or never. So we're just going to go ahead and plug Giannis in. He's the most expensive player on the board, of course, and he will make it a little tougher to get multiple studs into this lineup. But I just figure, look, guys, if they don't do it tonight at home, this series is over. They were just awful, particularly last game, but really the first two games against Brooklyn, they've had no answers. I'm someone who picked Milwaukee to win this series, so I look like a real genius here. I thought they'd be a lot more competitive than they have been. I still think they can be, but Giannis is going to have a Giannis type of game tonight. He's going to have to. They got to keep this close, and he's going to have to play over 35 minutes, I would think. And hopefully, both things are going to be true tonight because again, it's do or die here for Milwaukee. So I'm going to go ahead and pay up for Giannis and just hope that he has one of those Giannis type games finally to keep Milwaukee in this series. Kind of along the same lines, other studs then. Um, won't be able to fit Durant in with Giannis, but that's okay because without James Harden in the lineup, I don't have a problem playing either one of these two guys. I'm going to go ahead and try and stick Kyrie in at the point guard position. I don't have to spend a lot of time telling you why Kyrie is a good option. Let's check his game log from last game. He wasn't great, but again, yeah, 40 points, 36, 48, and 40. So he hasn't, his last three games, he really hasn't put up a monster that we know that Kyrie's capable of. But look, I mean, he is capable of this 63-point game anytime. Durant had a pretty big game last game. Maybe it'll just be Kyrie's turn tonight. But either way, I'm going to take the savings because we know that Kyrie has a 60-point night in him any night, regardless of matchup. So I'm going to go with Kyrie, save a little bit of money from Durant, and hope that Kyrie puts up a big game tonight against Milwaukee. We certainly know that he is capable. In the shooting guard position, I'm going to go a little bit different here. You're going to see a lot of people jamming Donovan Mitchell in their lineups tonight, and if you want to play Donovan Mitchell, there's no reason not to play Donovan Mitchell. He had a huge game, obviously, in Game 1 against the Clippers that they won by 3 points. Could he come back and have another monster game like that tonight, especially if Mike Conley is out, which as we get into this pick six, I'm kind of betting on Conley being out again. Yeah, absolutely, he could. I mean, he pretty much has to be their scoring. He has to be the main option. He's going to take a ton of shots. He's going to get a ton of usage. And he's certainly somebody that would be a good option here. I'm going to go just a little bit different with a guy that I don't think is going to be as high owned. He's a risky play, guys, but I'm going to put Paul George in my shooting guard position, and here's my logic. Paul George was terrible in Game 1, and he hasn't been that great overall in this, in the playoffs. But he does have 3 straight games against Dallas with 51 points. He shot the ball awful in Game 1 against Utah. 4 for 17, 3 for 8 from the three-point line. Still had 20 points, 37 fantasy points. He did manage to grab 10 rebounds. But we need more than that from Paul George. I'm going to just wait. I'm just going to gamble on tonight that he bounces back with a much better game, that he shoots the ball a lot better. I don't think he's going to be as high owned, certainly as Donovan Mitchell or Kawhi Leonard. So I'm just going to take a shot here that Paul George bounces back. He's taken a lot of heat in the media. You know he's hearing these type of things. So I'm hoping that Paul George just comes out and shoots the ball much better than he did in Game 1, which I think he will, and puts up a big number. If you want to go with Donovan Mitchell here, absolutely. He's certainly a great option. Look what he did in the last game. Yes, 45 points, 61 fantasy points. He scored 49, 57, and 61 in his last 3 games. And now with Conley either off the floor, even if Conley plays tonight, I think he's going to be limited because I think we're dealing with a hamstring. But either way, is he going to come back and have another 45-point night? I guess I'm just kind of guessing or betting that he won't in this main lineup, and that's why I'm willing to take a shot with Paul George. Okay, so obviously we're going to need some value now. We've got 3 what we would call studs in the game, even though Paul George looks like more of a mid-range because of his price. This is the guy that I'm going to go back to at small forward, that if I'd have went to him the last slate that the Clippers played, again, we'd be talking about, a complete takedown in a couple of tournaments. I had a feeling about him, and I didn't plug him in. I'm going to try and go back to him tonight, and I'm going to go to Luke Kennard as a value play. Now, I was on Mann that night because Mann had been getting the minutes. All of a sudden, they put Luke Kennard in, and Terrence Mann didn't play hardly anywhere close to the minutes he had been playing. But if you go back and look, the final game against Dallas, Kennard also got a little bit more run. He got 15 minutes in that last game against Dallas. Okay, big deal, 15 minutes, but he put up 14 fantasy points. The matchup, I think, is a little bit better with Kennard, and I think that's why he played 29 minutes in this first game against the Clippers. They only lost by 3 points. He put up close to 30 fantasy points. Um, I don't know why they wouldn't go back to him, but it is a little bit of a risk because we do have man. And Rondo got some more minutes last time. Now, Reggie Jackson got in foul trouble. So is it only did he get these minutes only because Reggie Jackson got in foul trouble, or are they going to start using Kennard for matchup purposes going forward more in this series? He's a risky guy. You could go back to a man, I think, here if you wanted to. Um, but a man's only guard eligible, so you'd have to kind of rearrange some things here. But bottom line is, I'm just going to go ahead and take a shot here with Luke Kennard that he has another game tonight like he had in game one, that he gets the minutes, and at 3,300, I mean, if he scores 20 fantasy points, I've got 6x out of him, and that's really all I need. So take a chance with me or skip him. It's up to you guys. But I'm going to put him in this main lineup and see what happens, and just continue to kick myself that I had a feeling about him last time and I didn't put him in. I went with Man, and Man scored 8 fantasy points. We still made the money, but we didn't make the money. Okay, so center position kind of gross today. Gobert. I never really feel like Gobert is somebody I have to have in a lineup. He's a little less expensive than I would expect. You can play Lopez, obviously, at center, Griffin at center, Zubac at center. So you don't have a whole lot of options. You can play Giannis at center, obviously, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just go with the same theme that I'm going with Giannis, that Milwaukee, this is do or die. They better come out and perform. Throughout the year, big men have had success against Brooklyn during the regular season, but the fact of the matter is Brooklyn has played much better defense in the playoffs. Will that continue tonight at home? I'm kind of hoping not. So I'm going to go ahead and put Brook Lopez in as kind of a value here as my center. If I can get his minutes, he usually gets somewhere around 25 to 28 minutes. If he can give me 28 to 30 minutes and score me 25 to 30 fantasy points, I'll be happy with that. That's what we're shooting for here. And who knows, he could have a big game as well tonight. So the final guy we're going to put in the pick 6 is a guy I don't love playing, but he just makes sense if Mike Conley does not play tonight. I'm going to go ahead and put Joe Ingles in. Now, if Mike Conley plays tonight, I don't think I'm going to have as much interest in Ingles, even if Conley is on a minutes limit. That's still minutes that are going to come away from Ingles. Jordan Clarkson is generally a more productive player than Ingles, but I think Clarkson is... Where is Clarkson? Yeah, he's 6,300 compared to 4,700. Ingles got the minutes last game. He started in place of Mike Conley. He got 32 minutes. He just shot 3 for 12 from the line and 1 for 8 from three-point line. So if Conley is out and Ingles gets to start again, I'm willing to go back to him. And again, much like Paul George, just hope that he doesn't shoot that poorly. So that's officially today's pick 6. You see we've got about $4,000 left here on DraftKings for to fill our last 2 spots. You've got several options there. You could go back to a PJ Tucker. I'm probably going to do this, so I'll just make this a pick 7. I've only got one Brooklyn player in this lineup. He wasn't as good as he was in Game 1, and frankly, guys, I'm a little bit concerned that maybe that Game 1 performance out of Blake Griffin was a bit of a fluke. But I'm willing to go back and give him another chance tonight. It was a blowout. He didn't get as many minutes in Game 2 as he did in Game 1. So I think I'll probably put Griffin in here to get some more Brooklyn in this in the game. And hopefully Griffin gets back up over those 30 to 35 minutes. And at 4,800, then he's a great play. That's going to leave me with $3,300, right? And everything from this point on is going to be a punt option. I wouldn't mind trying to. Now, if Conley does play tonight, I don't think I'm going to go to Conley, but then you could switch it up. You could take Ingles out. You could put a Mike James in from Brooklyn because he seems to be getting the backup point guard minutes. They seem to be giving. He didn't get as many as Game 2 as he did in Game 1, but then you could put somebody like him in and then that'd free up some more space for this utility position. You could get up to maybe a Bruce Brown or a Zubac, but you just have to play with it if Conley doesn't play. But if we leave it like this, a couple of guys that PJ Tucker in game one had a whole bunch of minutes. I think he played 26 minutes in game two. He's just not a productive player, generally speaking. 28 minutes, 17, 24 minutes. But if he's going to get between 20 and 25 minutes, he's not a bad punt option. Connaughton really didn't get very many minutes. 14, 20 in the last two, and he isn't a terribly productive guy either. I might look at a Landry Shamet here. He got, I think, 16 minutes last game. Maybe he'll get a few more in this game. Derek Favors, I think he got 15 or 16 minutes in the last game and put up about 15 fantasy points. So if you go with this lineup and put Griffin in here in that last forward spot, excuse me, guys, I got an itch in my eye. Then we're just kind of looking at punts here and just hoping that one of these punt value guys, maybe the game's a blowout and they get extra minutes or, they play above their skis. I think, we could go to Mann because he had been getting minutes before. But again, the Mann-Kennard thing is kind of the one we're guessing on here. And I'm picking Kennard, so I'm not going to put Mann and Kennard in the same lineup. So I would probably either go to a Connaughton, a Tucker, or maybe a Landry Shamet here. And maybe Shamet gets a few more minutes like we kind of expected him to with Harden being out. They've just went with James. But James got less minutes last game. So, we're just picking a punt guy for the last spot here. But I'm okay with that because I think we've got a pretty good lineup in our top 7. So that's the pick 6 for today, guys. Again, we're going to try and get these videos out every day more consistently. I've just had one damn thing after another happen here as we start the summer. But anyway, that'll be today's pick 6. We'll definitely have a video out tomorrow, so make sure you join me for that. And again, make sure you keep an eye on whether Mike Conley plays tonight. Before we get out of here, one more time, hit the like button, please. Hit the subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter at SandoDFS. I'll put out some updates throughout the day, sometimes on my Twitter account, like especially today if we get news that maybe Conley isn't going to play or something else comes up out of the blue and we have to change, what we built here in this pick 6. And you can be entered into our $25 DFS drawing. If you retweet the post that has the link to this video in it, I'll put your name on the list. If you leave a comment down below in our comment section, I'll put your name on the list as well. And as we get towards the end of the playoffs, right before the finals start, we're going to announce another $25 DFS $25 worth winner. So anyway, good luck to you guys tonight. Good luck to all of us. And God willing, I will talk to you tomorrow.